Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. Alright, so we got Stock Money Lizards here. He's posting this for the first time in 3 months. By the way, he's talking about Bitcoin here. Short-term price action looks bullish. Are we close to a massive breakout, or is this just a fake out? Let's take a close look at the metrics. So guys, here you have an incident where Bitcoin was trending downward for several months back in 2024. I'm sure you guys remember the high that we hit back in March of 2024. Bitcoin did form lower lows. It also did form lower highs as we continued to move down. And then finally, out of nowhere, it just popped. And so guys, look at this. In 2025, we are noticing the same kind of trend. So since the beginning of 2025, we did notice Bitcoin peak. We are seeing those lower lows. And now, guys, it's looking as though we are moving above that trend line. Stock Money Lizards writes down here, okay, first let's take a look back to what we wrote back in January. If we take all this together, okay, this rather looks like a normal correction during the bull market, so the beginning of the bear market. So far, this has been true, but is the correction over? And so he's showing just another chart here. You know, at a point, we can assume that the bull run was over. When you do see this, the beginning of a bearish trend to the downside. The thing about bear trends, though, when you know you're in a bear market, you really do feel it the same way you feel that you're in a bull market. And we just haven't gotten to that place yet. As outlined in an earlier post, Bitcoin has broken that orange descending resistance line with increasing volume. So far, so good. As you can see, Bitcoin is now approaching a next high volume node, the former support band that has now flipped to resistance. So in conclusion, he writes here, 88,000 to 89,005. That is a key level for Bitcoin. We expect a short-term rejection here. Many will flip bullish here at resistance. So our take, rejection, consolidation above 85,000, and another retest. So that is what we're looking at. Luckily for us, guys, look at where we're at now. He said anywhere between 88 to 89,500 for one Bitcoin. Yesterday we were moving up. We did see a bit of a jolt here, a big move to the upside, then a big flush to the downside. But right now, as of the time of this recording, we are seeing Bitcoin at 88,005, so right smack dab in the middle of that price projection. We did actually get up as high as 88,008. Bitcoin did retrace. It's climbing on low volume, so that's even good news. So chances are, if I throw this here, now on the daily, chances are we are coming out of that. Bitcoin starting to lead the market. And as you guys can see from Gemini's tweet here, flight to crypto looks like the stock market is a sea of red. So this is a heat map of, general stock markets. We got the NASDAQ up here, really the tech sector, internet, retail, communication services, industrials, real estate, so on and so forth. And you can see overall, very, very red, and you compare that to where crypto is at in the moment. Bitcoin up 4.16%, XRP is up, BNB coin's up, Solana's up, Ethereum's up even. So guys, a sea of green when you compare traditional markets to the crypto space. And, historically, we don't see this usually, right? It's feeling like there's a bit of a decoupling going on. Even XRP is seeing a slight turn to the upside. So this is, historically, this is usually how Bitcoin and XRP do move together. Bitcoin usually does start with a big pump, and then XRP does follow afterwards. And so, although XRP has been doing very, very well this bull run so far, it is now languishing a little bit. Nevertheless, XRP still trading in and around $2.10 per coin. So that's still positive, guys. Fear and greed, that's up to 38. The market cap is seeing a gain of about 0.5%. CMC 100 is also up by 0.8. Altcoin season still 16 out of 100, so not too much to say there. But guys, you can see cryptos, and I think this heat map here, this comparison is really, the take home today. Comparing this to what stock markets are seeing, let's just take a look at the S&P 500. And as I'm recording this, the markets aren't open yet, but we did see another negative day for the S&P here. This is the daily chart, and you can see, even though we did rebound on April the 9th, we have been seeing just a bit of indecisiveness, and now looks like sellers are still selling off. So traditional markets, traditional institutional investors, still a bit indecisive, but XRP network activity has jumped to 67.5%, with active addresses rising from 27,352 to 40,366, guys, and this was just for April the 20th alone. This is Sunday. This is Easter Sunday. Look at that. Okay, number of active addresses has jumped from 27.3 thousand roughly to 40.3 thousand. That is a huge move, despite the fact that XRP price really hasn't moved that much. So what could this mean? Institutional demand incoming, I have a feeling, the institutional money is, well, they know what's going to happen next within the next, whether it's a few weeks or a few months. Take a look at all the ETFs. And I'm not even just talking about XRP ETFs, although XRP does take up a large portion in the ETF space when it comes to cryptos. Eric Balchunas posting this. There are now 72 crypto-related ETFs sitting with the SEC awaiting approval on their list. Everything from XRP, Litecoin, Solana, to Penguins, Doge, 2X Melania, and everything in between. So these are just, this is just a list of some of them here. We got Litecoin, Solana, Doge, a lot of XRP ones, Cardano, HBAR, so on and so forth. Some Ethereum ones in there. Eric Balchunas does link the full list down in here. And of course, I will link this tweet in the description of the video for you guys if you're interested. So, this is just, speaking to, I think, where, markets are going in terms of the institutional interest. Okay, a flight from traditional stock markets moving into the crypto space. And I think we are now starting to see the first inclinations of that. So wanted to thank Eric Balchunas, wanted to thank Ali Charts here, wanted to thank the Gemini Exchange. Whoops, got to reopen that closed tab there, closed it by accident, and I wanted to thank Stock Money Lizards for posting that. Tom Lee, has not wavered either. He still thinks the macro picture for Bitcoin is looking very good. We are in a macro bull market, he says, for all assets driven by global liquidity, and so we have to look at the liquidity and the context there. He says gold is a leading indicator. Rotation of liquidity will likely take place. Bitcoin and the stock market will catch up. So, do you agree with Tom Lee?
Yeah, I think Bitcoin earlier this year may have been struggling with some of the deleveraging that was happening for institutional investors.
Just selling what they could.
Yeah, selling what they could, and I think that suppressed Bitcoin, especially over weekends. But now that deleveraging is done, I think that Bitcoin is going to catch up to gold, and Bitcoin's old high was over 110,000. So I think there is a lot of room to catch up as a sort of non-dollar asset.
As for the equity markets, you think stocks are attractive, but uncertainty is still the name of the game, and it's going to persist. So you think the high in the VIX, what did you say that was on April 7th, that holds?
Yeah, I think it's going to be hard to match that level of fear again. So I think we're probably past peak uncertainty. I mean, even with this Fed controversy, but I don't know if we're past maximum pain. I think that there's still risk that the economic consequences are going to cause markets to be hesitant, but it's going to be hard to match that fear again. So I think a structural low did take place.
So Tom Lee saying, maybe we did actually already experience maximum pain. And he's not speaking for entire markets because there are, as you can see, stock markets are reacting to the socio-political, economic factors that are taking place, especially in the United States with uncertainty, with trade tariffs, all that stuff. So, an interesting observation here from Tom Lee. He does think Bitcoin is still going to be very bullish moving forward into 2025. Again, it's still, it's the end of April, almost halfway through the year already. Wow. Amazing. Fred Rispoli here commenting on Eleanor Turret's tweet. Apparently, Paul Atkins was just sworn into office today and has officially started his tenure as chairman for the Security and Exchange Commission. We're going to get to Fred Rispoli's comment in a second. But here we have it, guys. Paul Atkins, who previously served as an SEC member from 2002 to 2008 and was seen as a business-friendly lawyer, was sworn in Monday as the SEC chairman. Let's just go down here. With more than 100 S&P 500 companies set to report first quarter financial results this week, investors will be closely listening to how individual outlooks are shaping up amid shifting policies from the Trump administration. We got to keep remembering, the SEC tackles the stock market. I know we are in crypto by and large. Some of you guys might be invested in stocks, but by and large, we talk about the SEC in the context of crypto. And, I tend to forget that they also regulate the stock market just because we talk about it in terms of crypto all the time. Technology stocks, which have led the selling action during the tariff-induced market drawdown, will be the particular focus. Okay. Each of the so-called Magnificent Seven stocks, are now off 23% or more. And I guess they're looking to Paul Atkins to maybe give them some answers. I guess the bigger news here is that we have a crypto-friendly head now at the SEC, and this obviously bodes well for us. Fred Rispoli here commenting, now there are no more excuses for delays, because that's the other thing. There were some delays, for the Ripple SEC lawsuit, along with some other high-profile crypto lawsuits. Now the commish is sworn in, and he can take charge. Now we can see if the SEC pro crypto talk is BS or for reals. So that courtesy of Fred Rispoli there. Kenny Nguyen saying, I agree. Digital Assets Daily agreeing as well. Riz also agreeing 100%. XRP JB saying, time to put words into action. Darren Carlson saying, he better bring it up fast. Talk is cheap. We've been waiting for a very, very long time. It is positive news that Coinbase is now relisted XRP Futures just yesterday on their exchange. The futures contracts are regulated by the US CFTC and add to the growing list of crypto derivative products available for retail and institutional investors. And guys, this is important because Coinbase is one of those fully regulated, fully compliant, government-approved exchanges in the United States. Coinbase has listed futures contracts for the XRP token on its US derivatives exchange. The cryptocurrency platform said on April the 21st. The contracts are overseen by the U.S. Commodity Futures Trading Commission and offers traders a regulated, capital-efficient way to gain exposure to one of the most liquid digital assets, the company said in an X platform post. Coinbase's XRP futures include standard contracts representing 10,000 XRP and retail-oriented NANO contracts representing 500 XRP each, or approximately $1,000 as of April the 21st. So the contracts are the latest for crypto futures to launch on the Coinbase Derivatives Exchange. There's some more info down here, giving us some historical details. In December, Coinbase said derivatives trading volumes did soar roughly 10,900% in 2024. So obviously they are seeing a big need, market demand for it. The exchange is reportedly in talks to buy Durabit in a bid to expand its derivatives footprint. So Coinbase is also acquiring other companies at the moment. Coinbase launched the U.S. Derivatives Exchange in 2022, bringing cryptocurrency futures, including retail-oriented nano contracts, to tens of millions of U.S. users. And now that they've added XRP, this is going to stir up more demand, I think, for the XRP cryptocurrency. This is not the end of that story either. Bill Morgan here posting this. Okay, days before Coinbase's CFTC regulated XRP futures did go live on their derivatives platform, the Oregon AG files a complaint that alleges XRP sold on Coinbase platform and Coinbase Prime is a crypto security, ignoring that Coinbase delisted XRP from those platforms and did not allow its sale between just after the start of the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit in December of 2020, and immediately after the summary judgment decision of Judge Torres almost 3 years later, and ignoring that in the very decision, Judge Torres found that XRP itself is not a security. No one could have the imagination to make up this dystopian nonsense. So this, unfortunately, is occurring today, but I thought I'd bring it to you regardless. Here is the paper. Coinbase has made unregistered securities available for trading, and there's a list. It's not just XRP. There's a long list there, and to play devil's advocate, some of these cryptocurrencies have not been cleared, I guess technically yet. Here we go. Well, let's see what happens next. Good Morning Crypto posting this just in. Coinbase has moved 29.5 million XRP. And so you think this has to do with the derivatives launch? I tend to think so. Right there, guys. Delivered 29.5 million XRP now delivered over Coinbase. So this is going to add to the demand for XRP over the XRP ledger. Just one small part in this. Warriors, the tides are turning, says Pretoria Nova. With 29.5 million XRP moved, the stage is set for a new era. Coinbase launching XRP derivatives today signals a massive leap forward. Stand tall, XRP army. Here we go. I don't think, many of us have wavered too much since the early days. XRP Soldier giving us some more information on these derivatives and why it's a big deal. Okay, first, what happened? XRP was delisted back in 2021. January 2021, I remember. It was the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit, and they were one of the first ones, I think, to say, no, we're not going to trade XRP anymore. And a lot of people in the XRP community were not kind to Coinbase, and I think still have boycotted or are boycotting Coinbase for that decision. But now, okay, it's a bit of a different story. Now, not only is XRP trading spot again, but it's been listed on Coinbase's futures platform, the one used by institutions and serious traders. So these are serious institutional traders, guys. This is not just for retail. Remember that. This is big money that will eventually be coming into the space. So why do derivatives matter? Because this is where the big money plays. Institutional institutional traders, hedge funds, market makers, algo firms, liquidity providers. They all use derivatives for hedging, speculation, and structured products. The listing brings 3 massive tailwinds for XRP as well. So exposure being back on Coinbase's derivatives desk means more access for XRP across institutional desks. Again, like I said, Coinbase, they are fully regulated, government compliant, government approved. So it's good that this is happening on the Coinbase exchange specifically. I mean, I got to say, it's bigger news that it's on Coinbase than if it were any of those other offshore exchanges. I mean, that would still be good news, but because it's Coinbase means it's extra good. Volume and liquidity brings, so futures bring more trading activity and depth to the XRP price action. We've got infrastructure as well. Okay, so the derivatives markets are usually a precondition for an ETF. So that is also very important to note here. He goes on to say the SEC case is dragging, but progress is being made behind the scenes. Ripple wants the court to allow institutional sales of XRP again, and a strategic stockpile may already be lined up for U.S. entities. This relisting could be the first domino. So what comes next? This opens the door not just to ETFs, but to structured products, options, and exposure at scale. So, when we look at the ETFs and we think to ourselves, wow, that's a lot of ETFs. Guys, that's just the beginning. Structured products, options, exposure at scale. And by scale, I mean for institutional consumption. When institutions gain access to leverage and deep liquidity, price discovery accelerates. So this is going to be the snowball effect. Wanted to thank Mike IT Easy for posting that. Of course, Good Morning Crypto, Bill Morgan. Who else participated here? Oh, yeah, and Fred Rispoli and Tony Edward. Don't want to forget Tony. Thanks, guys, for posting that. Now, Curve Finance posted this. Wait, what? RLUSD from Ripple has also a 53 million sized pool on Curve already. So we are seeing an acceleration of the RLUSD being minted and being utilized on different platforms here. This on the heels of the Aave tweet. Okay, users can now supply and borrow RLUSD, Ripple's enterprise-grade stablecoin, on the Aave v3 Ethereum core market. So there's just a little video there advertising that. But we've also got it on Curve Finance. So guys, we are seeing a larger permeation, I guess you could say, of RLUSD, finding its way on all these different platforms across the crypto space. I think, there's a strategy here, and I think Ripple did know this for a while, but, they have to be competitive. And I think, now more than ever, Circle and Ripple are going to become closer competitors than previously. Sento Sumo Saba posting this. This is brand new. Okay, a Circle Payments network has now been launched. Private network will be gone. IPO price could now be interesting. It's an open network space where banks, payment companies like Ripple and Stellar can on- and off-ramp providers, third-party apps, so on and so forth. Other stablecoin issuers can innovate together for their own customers. She links the white paper there. So essentially, this is going to compete with Ripple Payments, Circle Payment Network for global money movement. And this is directly from Circle's website. So it is for Forex settlement, for DeFi, retail payments. They also provide liquidity services. So basically exactly what Ripple is doing with Ripple Payments, micropayments, remittances, so on and so forth. And I'm sure, people are going to wonder, is this going to hurt Ripple in any way? Panos here saying, okay, this is big. Circle just launched a direct Ripple competitor. CPN, or Circle Payment Network, I guess I'm guessing that's what it's called, competes directly with Ripple Payments, aka ODL. So the game is now on. It will be interesting to see how this will evolve and how competition will drive more innovation. So just more screen grabs here, just describing how this payment system is going to work. But, we're familiar with the workflow, considering we've been following Ripple Payments for a very long time. The official Circle announcement down here. And of course, people are going to wonder, David Farrick here saying, agree this is big. However, are the national banks and other big players going all in on a proprietary solution? I do not think so. And Panos mentions this. There was never going to be one winner. I mean, this has been the train of thought, I think, for a while now. Never going to be one big winner. There will be many winners, many solutions. It's just another strong point against maximalism and people who believe that one asset or tech will rule them all. Competition is good as always and leads to better products. So all boats will rise, guys, and I'm sure Ripple is happy to have the competition. I'm sure Circle realizes that they're in direct competition with Ripple. Are one of these companies going to buy out the other? Well, definitely not at this stage. Maybe down the road, though. Who knows? I think at this point, we're still trying to get more utility for all cryptocurrencies. The cryptocurrencies that hold value are the ones that are really going to thrive in this space. XRP trading just above $2.10 per coin. But where could it go? How high? is it going to go? Are we going to see real world utility in 2025? For more information on where my thought process is regarding this particular bull run, because guys, it's at our doorstep. I keep saying it because this bull run is very different than other bull runs. Now we have legislation. We have Donald Trump. The last bull run, we didn't even have Donald Trump in. So it's going to change the game. It's going to change the way we play and how I'm looking at it. Patreon.com/workingmoneychannel for more information on that. And if you guys haven't checked out the merch store yet, the link is in the description of this video. This is the Working Money Channel merch store. I have created some new merchandise here. Got my classic XRP hat there. I also created a brand new logo here, the astronaut Send It XRP. You can get the t-shirt, you can get the long sleeve, and it's 20% off now for the month of April. So check it out. Again, link is in the description of the video. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.